Hi, my name is Max Sickler. I'm here to talk to you about green design. Who here knows what green design is, or sustainable design? No one? Okay.
Heard of it.
So the purpose today, I would like to teach you some aspects of green design and what it is, but more importantly, I'd like to teach you guys why it's inevitably going to be a part of our future. Buildings account for nearly 40% of the annual energy used, and with that being known, it becomes clear that buildings' energy efficiency must be addressed. Sustainable design, or green design, is filled with ideals which, when incorporated into people's homes or buildings, can get the owners near net zero energy used over time. For the average household, that can mean $2,000 in annual savings. I got that quote from the Environmental Protection Agency. Sustainable design is a necessity for the future because oil, gas, coal, water, along with the rest of the natural resources we use today, will only become more exclusive as time continues. So it is important that we as a single culture liberate ourselves from these resources as our only means of producing our energy. Sustainable design is a philosophy of architecture that focuses on complying with modern principles of the environment, economy, and society. In today's standards, this means using the absolute minimum amount of energy while maintaining comfortable living standards. I'd like to break down the 40% of energy used. This means 12% of the water used annually, 68% of the electricity used, and 38% of carbon dioxide emitted into our atmosphere. I got this from the Environmental Protection Agency as well. I'd also like to let you know that those quotes are excluding all the energy that was used in making the buildings. They're only touching on the energy that is used while the building is being maintained. When you take that other energy into effect, it would actually jump it up to around 50% of energy used annually. So imagine if 39% of energy used annually by buildings could be used towards something else. If we as a culture shifted towards sustainable design, communal life would improve for everyone. Breaking down the philosophy can also be beneficial to understanding sustainable design. The economic aspects of it is more incentive-based. The whole philosophy behind sustainable design is not really meant to save everyone money, more so it's meant to save the world. The social aspects is a bigger picture, but still not the biggest picture. Social aspects are meant to create a more healthy environment for the inhabitants, but it's still not the core belief of sustainable design. The environmental aspects are what is really important here. The whole philosophy of sustainable design is to save our planet. Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design is a group that grants buildings green statuses, which can be used for tax deductions up to 35%. Sustainable buildings are clearly cost-effective in the lifespan of the building, but in order for a building to be LEED certified, it must prove to be a healthy habitat for its owners, meaning that sustainable buildings literally are healthier places to live than regular buildings. Better air quality and better living standards for everyone.
Amen.
Also, studies show that lenders and insurers are realizing that green homeowners are better to lend money to because they place higher value on lower maintenance and lower operating costs. Sustainable buildings don't always need to be thought of as an expense that only the wealthy can afford. German architect Petra Zebens-Zirkel, who has built 40 eco-friendly houses, claims that she's built sustainable homes for the same price as similar-sized normal homes and achieved payback in 2 to 5 years. So in the long run, it does become cheaper. I'd like to quote what Zirkel said when she was asked how she viewed the future of sustainability in architecture and design. She said, "Without sustainable buildings, there will be no future. Architecture that uses so much energy, producing carbon dioxide emissions, can't be sustained. I'm convinced of that. Sustainable buildings must be made more widely known." The configuration of a building within its surroundings is extremely important to the concept of sustainability as well. For instance, a house on the northern hemisphere should have a southwest orientation. This creates a roof slope that faces the sun's rays and is also an optimal placement for the solar cells, which will prove to be a vital part of sustainable design in the future. In fact, in 1 hour's time, the amount of sunlight that falls onto the Earth's surface is enough to compensate for the total energy used by the world's population in 1 year's time. When designing a sustainable house, it is crucial to account for the sun's role in the building of the environment, because the sun will prove to be our planet's most vital resource. There are many other techniques and aspects of sustainable design which must be orchestrated in accordance with one another to achieve a sustainable building. For instance, passive design works with the natural lighting to heat the home in the winter months, but also keep the sun out of the home during the summer months. Ground source heating literally uses the constant heat of the sun's crust to heat water and heat the home itself. Winds produced by the sun's energy also will create a lot of energy for sustainable buildings. Rainwater collection is another very crucial element to sustainable design because fresh water will only become more and more exclusive as time continues and our population grows. The materials that are used for a greenhouse, as well as the way the building is constructed, contribute greatly to how environmentally friendly a house is. The reason for this is because no matter how energy efficient the materials are, if you're spending a lot of money to ship them or using a lot of energy to create them, then the house is not actually environmentally friendly. As a culture, we must change the way we think about consuming by buying inefficient products. By buying inefficient products, we fuel the producer's intent to keep producing those products. We must, as a culture, boycott inefficient products in order to reach carbon emission-free buildings. With that being said, I would like to invite you all to research the 2030 Challenge. Architecture 2030 is a nonprofit organization, and their goal is simple: to achieve a dramatic reduction in the climate change-causing greenhouse gas emissions of the building sector by changing the way buildings and developments are planned, designed, and constructed. They hope to have carbon emission-free buildings being built as the norm by 2030, which may be a tall order, but will certainly be worth the reward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Encore.
I care about the earth, homie.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So glad to be done with that.
Oh, it's still recording.